Welcome back, Nightwish fans. Hope everybody's keeping well. So today we're in for a big one. This is all the works of nature which adorn the world, and this music video apparently is a fan-made video, not an official one. So this request comes from Home Gnome over on Patreon. So thank you for your request, Home Gnome. And yeah, this is a big one. So I think without any further ado, let's get going.
There is a pleasure in the pathless woods. There is a rapture on the lonely shore. There is society where none intrudes, by the deep sea and music in its roar. I love not man the less, but nature more.
Okay. Vista. So I'm not going to be stopping as often, I think, in this one because it's so long, but I've heard that this is broken down into 8 different parts, so it's obviously part 1. Lovely spoken word there at the beginning. Is that taken from something, or was that composed literally, was that written for this? I really get the sentiment already of finding somewhere completely untouched by man, sort of thing like that. I can really relate to that, actually. Anyway, beautiful imagery on this fan-made video. Let's keep going.
But nature more.
Interesting, he's using the harp there in the way that I would imagine, a rock band would use an acoustic guitar. The harp's being used almost like a strum of acoustic guitar. And, although it's all orchestra that's being done, the orchestra, all these violin swells and string swells, remind me of like the style that he has on the keyboard, because it's very pianistic, holding chords, moving chords, the harp, like block harmony, we call it, so very much in this sort of accompaniment, a melody style of composition, not so much busy in the sense that the orchestra are sort of doing. I am definitely in focus here. Let me double check. This camera is a wee bit dodgy. Sorry. Yeah, so the orchestra's not waving about doing sort of counter lines or anything like that. It's just planting down this harmony. And like I say, the harp, the strums are outlining that harmony, if you like, a little bit more clearly. But what's really capturing my ear the most is the cello. So there's a really strong sense of melody. Very melodic. Incredible phrasing on the cello. It's kind of putting me in mind of like a sigh. Da 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 dum. So something I'm getting sort of breathing connotations. Resolution into the major, UK, Oh, and now the harp's outlining broken chords. Da, 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 da. And the string section's sort of doubling up what the cello was doing, everything more elaborate. So I don't mean to say this because of the visuals. I'm taking in the visuals, like, but the music is really cinematic. The reason why I say that is it really makes me think of, like, say, Hans Zimmer. I can't think of any other composers off the top of my head. I'll have to sort of sit and think. Modern day composers, I mean, like for films and stuff, because the music sounds like it would be a part of something. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like there's like standalone classical music where it's very complex and everything's moving around, and you sort of go in like this here. This sounds like an accompaniment to something visual, so I think this is really good the way they've. I'm sure it stands alone on its own, but in terms of sort of classical writing, it's not, like I said, it's not overly complex, you know. So there's the arrangement is complex, but the sort of harmony and stuff like that makes me think of sort of more modern day composers where it's sort of the essence, a lot more sort of diatonic chords and things being used. So far. Beautifully played. Suspension back into the major, yeah. Got that same key change again, resolution, yeah. Yeah. So what I mean by the harmony is it's very major minor, but that's not a criticism, by the way. Of course, it just shows you how you can be incredibly creative within limits of that. I mean, there are suspended chords in here. You know, there's fourths and seconds and things like that being used because you can hear them at the end of those cadences. But in terms of the way the music's sort of ebbing and flowing, it's sort of major, major, minor, minor, major, minor. And he's modulating through different keys, and that's what's giving us this impression of it sort of doing this, and it is doing that. But, you know, if you take that and sort of compare it to, say, something like Rachmaninoff, you know, the harmony in something like that is way more complex than what we've got going on here. So he's not trying to do something like that. He is... you can hear the sort of, when I say pop, I mean like in pop music, or commercial music is maybe a better thing to say. A lot of the really sort of commercial music doesn't have overly complex harmony, and that's the reason why it's so commercial, is because people can listen to it, that you don't need a musical background. Anything that has like really sophisticated harmony in it tends to appeal to a smaller group of people. I guess it's like if you think of films, you know, you've got the big blockbuster films, like all the superhero films and all that. Like everybody can go and watch those. But if you're watching something that's like art house, whatever, it's getting shown in the cinema around the corner, you know, where there's like maybe 40 people listening to it because it's a smaller, you know. So I can understand why this appeals to so many people, because although it's in a classical style, the harmony isn't alienating for people. You know, people can follow this, you know. So that's why I'm using the word pop. It reminds me of if you think of the composer Einaudi on the piano. You know, so he does what people call sort of classical piano. I don't really think of it as classical piano, but I can understand why it's called classical piano, because it has elements of all those things in the past, but it's stripped down in sort of like more to the point kind of harmony. There's nothing wrong with major minor chords. You know, you have to learn all these. These are sort of the foundation of music, if you like. But it'll be interesting to see how he goes on, because obviously it's going to be a massive journey, this song. So I don't know whether the harmony is going to get any more sophisticated, or whether he's more wanting to tell a story through those kind of chords that he's already got, and just sort of let it ebb and flow and use the orchestra to give us sort of different contrasting emotions, as opposed to taking us down and going, whoa, what chord's that? Whoa, 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 that's really odd, you know? I get the impression he's not going to do that, but we'll see. Now he has an incredible sense for melody. The timpani in the background, male vocals. Oh, that's a nice chord. Wasn't expecting that. He's got that extended cadence, that sort of da-dum, da-dum. He's used that earlier on, so we're in a different key at this point. Yeah, there were a wee bit more sort of complex harmonies going on in there. Yeah, really nice. We get in those sort of the bass notes, not going with the chords. So like if you have a G chord, you know, using say like a D at the bottom. This kind of thing, so it's not just going straight to D. Call those sort of like slash chords, not slash Guns N' Roses chords, but you know. Definitely getting Eastern vibes, aren't we? Yeah, love me some of that. New movement. So what key man? His sense of melody is unreal. I know I've said that before, but I'm going to say it again. It's just, he manages to pluck these melodies out of the ether that are just like instant earworms. He has a real knack for that. To the major. Ambiguous. You can definitely hear the metal influence in this. Using the same themes as before, but changing the production or the arrangement. Glissando on the strings. There's a nice bit of contrast going on there between the or like a sort of question and answer kind of thing going on between the operatic vocals and the string section. I'm getting a little bit distracted on the images here because I actually have made an original song recently. I haven't published it yet, but it is finished, and I've made the video for it. And some of the same stock footage is being used in this video, so I'm getting a little bit distracted by that. I can understand why I missed it. There's a title for this one, I missed it there. But I can understand why we're getting lots of imagery of the sea and fish and stuff like that. There's the stuff going on with harp in particular. It's really put me in the mind of that, like bubbles in the water. Brass swells, great drama. So this, now I have to jump in at this point because I've said, so far the harmony hasn't been as complex as classical music, all right? So I know some of you probably aren't going to be happy with me saying that. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. I'm just telling you what my ears are hearing. But what's really impressing me in this sense is it's so clear that he's not trying to do that. So he's not attempting to make music. He's not trying to evolve classical music. So there's some composers that come along and they're like, okay, how can we evolve this in terms of like push the boundaries and with harmony and change things? And, that's music does that as it goes on, He's not trying to do that. What he's trying to do, I think, is get to the essence. There's a quote somewhere along the lines by Chopin. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'll sort of paraphrase it a little bit, but it's something along the lines of, once one has played all of the notes, it is simplicity that sort of reigns as the sort of highest level of art. Something like that. And I'm getting that here, which is not to say it's simple. The harmony's definitely more on the simple side. If you stack this up against Debussy or Ravel or, like I say, Rachmaninoff or Tchaikovsky or any of those guys, their harmony's way beyond this. But he has this sense of drama, and his writing for the orchestra is incredible. That's why I'm saying about Hans Zimmer or somebody like that, because like a modern day classical composer, that's more what they're doing, which is how you make an orchestra sort of talk amongst itself without going sort of down into the sort of the murkiness of like, oh, what's that sound? I'm not used to that, so really cinematic stuff. Sounds like a big choir. will draw a comparison to one composer on this it's making me think of, which is Beethoven. Um, you know, listen, if somebody's able to compare your work to Beethoven, you can't be doing too bad, eh? One of the greatest composers that's ever lived. So one of Beethoven's one of the elements of his genius was being able to take sort of a few elements, a few themes and motifs, and be able to create like a galaxy out of them, and getting that vibe here, which is like themes we've already heard within the first, not even a third of the song, and they're being used again. So we've got this repetition. There's repetition everywhere, in terms of chords and modulations and phrasing and the ends of cadences and stuff like that. So although we're moving around in different places, we're using a lot of the same harmony we had before. So there's repetition. It doesn't sound as obvious. I'm guessing if you don't understand music theory that much, it wouldn't be as easy to pick up on the fact that things are being recycled a lot here. But the reason why it doesn't sound so much is because of all the new instrumentation, different things that's coming in here. It's definitely giving it the feel of, we're moving into somewhere else at this point. But if you listen to those themes and motifs that we've had earlier on, they're changing from, this instrument has it and it's carrying it for a while and then it disappears and then it comes in somewhere else. The vocal line is now using it. That shows a very high intelligence to be able to craft music. I would argue that that's far more difficult to do than come up with odd sounding chords. Who knows? You could get into sort of deep debate about that, and I have done before with many musician friends. But I think the architecture of it is where the real sophistication is. If you've got all of those things happening, then that's how you end up with somebody like Rachmaninoff, which is like the man himself. You see him? There you go. Oh, dear. Don't get many opportunities to show off my Rachmaninoff photos, so there we go. Anyway, yeah, let's keep it moving. Chant. Really cinematic. Don't even need the imagery. You'd be away just based on those sounds. Just for the camera sync. Lovely swells. So the first time we've got the flute taking the really strong part of the melody. Yeah. Little bells. Has he done any work as a film composer? Because if he hasn't, he's sorely being missed. I'm actually getting sort of flashbacks to different films and stuff. Listen to this, actual, not just, like dreamlike imagery, but actual. Oh, it's making me think of this, making me think of that. It sounds very Christmassy to me. A little bit like Danny Elfman, possibly Nightmare Before Christmas, something in there. Edward Scissorhands, maybe? Oh, thought he was going to repeat that phrase. Still using the harp to outline the harmony, the broken chords. Still got the piano in there. What is the sequencer? So it's B flat. Oh, that's a nice change. Almost sounds like a Fender Rhodes. Okay. Bagpipes. Whoa. It's really good. The ornamentation in it, I think we're in E minor. You notice that's not just da da, you get this. That kind of thing, but that little glide on the guitar is like a bend, you know? That's, yeah. Call that an acciaccatura. Or an appoggiatura if it's slower. So there again with the harmony, if we're in E minor, there's the A minor over the E, down to D. So like I say, you know, in terms of the chords, I mean, that's the Iron Maiden chord sequence in it. Possibly a wee bit more, get the A minor over, a wee bit more sophisticated, but he's sort of turned it into like a mantra. You know, the repetition of it, and like I say, you know, he's using the different instruments and stuff like that to go, instead of thinking, right, well, where can we go to like different chords. You know, it's not trying to go around in different sort of unusual places, unexpected. We're getting this. Diatonic chords. You know, something like that, I guess. Nice chords to play around in. Nice counter melodies on the strings. Really playing with the major minor thing here. Themes in minor, and then the odd major note in there. There. A major tail on that. Back to the minor. I like that descending, ascending pattern there. I think so far that's been my favourite bit. Felt the sort of most experimental so far. Video's been done really well. It matches themes with the visuals, you know, coming out, moving into something else, and we've got this theme coming back, and we're back up into this sort of Highlands moors. Love that string work. Gives a real undulation. Nice to get the piano up there, taking the lead instrument. Brass swells. Now, talking about the brass swells being brought in, and now they're becoming the feature there. Did you see that? Oh! Like that chord. Very folky. For some reason it's put me in the mind of like Elder Scrolls or Conan the Barbarian or something like that. Game of Thrones. It's put me into, do you know what I mean? Like soundtracks for those kind of things. Very dramatic. Again, big metal vibes. Just shows you as like a painter, you know, you can go from one medium to another or whatever, you know, from sculpture to painting or whatever it may be. Because he's just taking all those elements from the metal stuff, straight into the orchestra, you know, and vice versa, you know. Imagine that it's the band, can't you? And Pooh on the guitar. Like icicles. to admit, I prefer this sort of sparse stuff. This is very atmospheric. Actually, a little bit like Philip Glass. Into the major. Back to the minor. Do you know there's a piece of music by Debussy called The Snow is Dancing? And that taught that piece a few times. I haven't played it in years, so it's a wee bit rusty like, but it reminds me of that where the music is really portraying the scene. Again, we've got the visuals here, but if you didn't have those visuals, you would be totally hearing all the snowflakes, you know, or seeing all the snowflakes from the way that he's using the orchestra to sort of paint. Yeah, that's really nice. All the bells and different things in there. Oh. There's those sighs. Was that the very beginning? There was da 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 da. Was that at the cello at the very start? Excuse me if I'm in the wrong place. It's the first time listening to it. But da da. I talked about the sighs before. It sounds like that they're coming around again. That's beautiful. Yeah. It's like the same theme we had earlier on. Getting big Edward Scissorhand vibes here. Going to do the next one? Yeah. So it's cadences again from earlier on. Sort of Eastern, more sort of Arabic kind of sounding again. Yeah. Yeah, now we're talking. One of the things, music's music, right? So we all have different opinions. We all have different tastes. It's just the way it works. This is great. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But even within that, there's wee bits that jump out as going, oh, I really like that bit, or I really like that bit, prefer this bit, prefer that. We're all the same. We, just maybe just have different bits. I think what's grabbing me there is because of what I like. It's not like I have a strict formula for what I like in music and what I don't like. But one of the things that really appeals to me there is this sensation of being brought down a path that you've never rung on before. It's maybe, I don't know if it's a musician thing or it's just a me thing. I don't know what it is, but I know there's other people I've talked to before and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not what they listen to music for. I don't know. For me, there's something exciting about being taken somewhere I've never been before. It's whenever you listen to something that becomes a bit predictable and you go like, oh yeah, well, I kind of thought it was going to go there. That for me, I can still enjoy it because of the production and the arrangement and all the rest of it. But whenever I hear it kind of going to where I thought it was going to go, it's a wee bit anticlimactic for me. Just me. So what really appeals to me in that section is that he's given me that feeling of I actually don't know what's coming next. I love that. I could listen to, give me half an hour of that. What's next? What's next? Whoa, 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 whoa. But yeah, anyway. I was convinced he was going back to that previous note, so he has no choices here, not what I'm expecting. Love that. Also this ostinato. It's not easy to do on the piano. Yes. Like the harmonies. Yes. Yes, well, I thought he was going up there, but I wanted it there. Miss Simon Michel in France had been there. Right. Yes. Cello coming through again. Oh dear. Dark imagery here. So unless I missed that there, we've got obviously the da 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 da. We've got that theme again, but is the beat intentionally off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I lost the beat in there somewhere when I seen the concentration camp stuff. Sounds like no, he has changed that. So those thuds were on the downbeat before, now they're on the offbeat. Sure. Staying in the minor this time, not going to the major. Oh yes. Yes, I like the dissonance. Give me more dissonance. Ah. Oh dear. Thanks, mankind. Don't know, show me a dead bird or something, then that's too early in the morning for that. Don't need that. Nice imitation. Notice the harp, in particular, you know, the harp is a very incidental music an incidental instrument in the orchestra, and it is being used incidentally here. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm hearing it, my ears being drawn to it far more than what it would normally be drawn to in a classical work or an orchestrative work. Yeah, I know the feeling, big man. Arr, arr, arr. I want to say I fucking love animals. Animals are fucking great.
Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam.
That's poetic.
That's here. That's home. That's us.
That's poetic. That's poetic. Oh! It's a real big shift here. Man, this guy and his melodies. Incredible melodies. Adding even more drama in with the strings and the choir, doing sort of counterpart stuff. That's the start of Twin Peaks, isn't it? The same waterfall. reverb stuff going on there, and the trumpets and the brass. Great dissonant harmonies in there. Whoa, right? Wow, talk about epic. Unreal. I mean, do you reckon this guy's going to go down in the history books with the likes of Sibelius? You know, will he be another... I guess he probably is a national treasure in Finland, like Sibelius. But props off to the person that made the video as well. You know, I know what it's like. Even just downloading all that footage, and putting it together, it would have taken a long time. A little bit annoyed that I'd seen some of the footage that I've used in my video, but that's, I guess, the risk you use when you're using sort of stock imagery. I did treat some of it a little bit, you know, we like turned some of it black and white and sort of layering things and all the rest of it, like, but yeah. So it'll be out soon. Anyway, thanks very much for the request. This is definitely different. You know, I haven't done anything overtly classical on the channel like this before, and yeah. Okay, I better wrap it up because I'm sure this is a pretty long video by now. Thanks for watching, guys. If any of you are still here, please do like and subscribe and comment below. Consider supporting the channel. You'll find the links in the description. All the best.